My name is Martin Bennett, and I'm the Adult Services Librarian with the Rita and Trotty Library. Through the next few minutes, I want to share some resources that you can use when researching, writing, and reviewing your resume and cover letter. Your resume and cover letter tells a potential employer a story about who you are. Writing a resume and cover letter is an opportunity to tell your employer about how you're the one for their organization. It's important to be honest and clear. You want to create a resume that shows your best self, but that avoids gimmicky visuals and tables. So, how do we start? When I'm creating a resume and cover letter, my first step is to research. It's less about finding the right template. It's not about finding the exact resume that I can just steal or that I can use and just put in my information. It's more about discovering the elements or the components of resumes and cover letters I like that I can maybe borrow or adapt. So for starters, I'm going to decide what kind of resume I want to make. If I had continued employment, I may want to create a chronological resume that focuses on my employment history. If I've worked the same job through a period of time, then I want to be able to highlight the length of time I've dedicated to working this job. So might make a job resume like this, where I've got a chronological resume where I start from the present and work my way back, explaining, sharing what I've done, and kind of walk through each employer and talk about what I've done. We'll get a little more into detail on this in a minute here, but that's what a chronological resume would look like. Now, let's say I have maybe employment gaps, or let's say I'm thinking about transitioning into a new kind of job that may be similar to what I've done in the past, but isn't quite the same. If I've worked as a server in a restaurant, for instance, but I want to transition to customer call center job, then what I really want to highlight is skills that are related to that customer service or that call center job. Even though I've worked as a server as a restaurant, I absolutely have customer service experience. You want to do what's called a functional resume. So this is a functional resume example, just to kind of share a visual of what to expect when you start searching these terms. So this is a functional resume. So rather than highlight the specific employment history, they do have employment history down here, but what they're really highlighting are specific skills. If I'm a server that's trying to transition to a call center job, I'm highlighting my customer service experience. I'm going to be highlighting my experience maybe handling money. If I've been a supervisor, if I've had to train people, I want to highlight that. Team leadership, those are very important skills that, while not exactly originating from the job I'm applying for, are going to translate to this new job. So that's where a functional resume may come into play. You think about what kind of format do you want to do. So when I'm researching, I'm going to start off by making that decision. I want to do a functional resume. I'm going to do a chronological resume. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about what kind of job do I want to look for. Most of us are going to probably use Google search to find a resume. We're probably going to just do like this. So knowing what format you want to do, that's going to be helpful. You can use, say, chronological childcare resume. You want to choose, the right keywords to kind of bring up more precise results when you do use Google. If you choose to use Google, this is how you would, maybe do that. So chronological childcare resume. Let's say you're wanting to go into childcare, you have experience in childcare. Maybe there's a job opening you want to go into. So you want to use this to kind of find resume examples. So I can, look up the results I have. This is just one way you can do that. Like I said, when you're doing research, what you're doing, like I said, you're thinking about what are resumes like, the format I want to use, and then what kind of jobs am I looking for. So that's what you're using to sort of find different resumes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using Google search, as long as you're using it as just another tool to find specific words, specific language that you can use. Like I said, you're not necessarily looking for exact templates. You don't necessarily need to copy a resume as is, but maybe you want to adapt it. Now, what else can I use besides Google? So if you go to DeKalbLibrary.org, we have several resources you can use. We're going to talk about a few of them. If you go to research databases at the top right, we have a jobs and careers category. So I'll scroll down, I'll see this under jump to on the left, click this, and this will give me several resources I can use for job and resume. Something else I can also use is when it comes to, say, ebooks and e-audiobooks. I may start here when I'm doing research. I may look, the reason I want to do that is I want to find resume books. Why would you use this over Google search? These tend to give you a little more breadth, gives you a little more detail, gives you a little more information about keywords that are going to be useful and necessary when you're applying for a job. Applying for a job is no longer dropping a resume off to an HR representative in person. It's oftentimes we have to go through a digital interface. We have to go through a website. These websites are going to be looking at your resume for a specific format, such as docx, PDF. They're looking for specific keywords and specific languages that they can use. Their algorithm is trained to do that. So many employers are using these digital algorithms to filter resumes, filter cover letters by these keywords. It's important to to review as much information that you can during this research phase so that you can use the right keywords to help your resume stand out and pass through. So I'm going to go in where the ebooks and the audiobooks are because I'm going to find some resume books. So the first resource I want to talk about, and the main one, is Hoopla. And the reason I want to emphasize Hoopla, if you have a library card, Hoopla is now free for you. And I've already logged in, so when you do, so using Hoopla, you'll if you don't have a login already created, so once you get to Hoopla, you'll go to the Get Started Today, and then you'll just put in your information, your email, password, and that'll help you get started here. Now, once you're into Hoopla, the benefit of this resource and the reason I'm emphasizing it during research is because with other ebook resources, we have to purchase digital copies. There's going to be limits. You don't want to have to wait and hold if you've got a job that you're wanting to apply for soon. What I would recommend then is I would recommend using Hoopla because there's no limits to each item. You do have 5 books you can check out at a given time. But once you find the item that you want to check out, then you're pretty good. So let's say I'm doing cover letters. I'm going to type in cover letters under this everything, but you can choose particular things, so ebooks, audiobooks, etc. I'm just going to type in cover letters everything, just see what it brings up. And so right here, I see these resources that I might be able to use. Resumes and cover letters for military to civilian career transitions, how to write a successful cover letter. All these are resources that I can check out. So I might choose this knock 'em dead cover letters. As I said, you get 5 checkouts. I'm going to go here to borrow title. And then when I come up here to my Hoopla under currently borrowed, I see right here, there it is. And I can start going into here into the resumes or the cover letters. I just click this play button here, and I'm going to get a window where I can start looking through this book. Now, I don't want to maybe go through all the book. I'm just looking for specific things. If I'm applying for a childcare job, I want to try to find information that will help me kind of understand how to make the cover letter stand out. But I also want to find, something more specific to me. So this will talk about how an employer is going to look at this. But I might skip around here. So what I did is I went to this table of contents icon here. And I'm going to skip around to elements of a great cover letter. And it's going to give me information that I might need about differences between electronic and print cover letters. If the page looks too small for you, you can go up here to this T, you can increase the font size. And see, now it's a little easier to read. So this will go into detail about what you're gonna need and everything. So this is something that you can use, uh, and there's also gonna have out sample letters. I definitely recommend this for everyone. I really especially recommend this for someone who's maybe has an employment gap or hasn't recently applied for jobs or had to work, who's returning to work. I definitely think this is a good resource to doing this in addition to Google search and just looking up what other websites and other blogs say. I think this one is going to be a little more authoritative. So use this refresher to that experience. But even if you have applied for jobs recently, even if you aren't returning to the job market, if you've been integrated in the job market and you're just looking to move up, I still recommend using this so that you can look at the breadth of sample letters, for instance. Like I said, when you're writing your resume cover letter, you're using these components, you're adapting them to your own uses. Looking at them, looking at these are going to be useful. Now, after Hoopla, there's still more resources you have with your library. I'm going to go back here to DeKalbLibrary.org, research databases here. Under ebooks and e-audiobooks, you can also use Overdrive, where you can find, resumes and cover letters. So we do have other resume books. Like I said, though, these are digital copies we've purchased, so there's a chance there may be a wait list and you'll have to place a hold on them. If it does say available, just sign in with your library card and PIN number, and you'll be able to borrow the book. Other resource that I would recommend, if you go to jobs and careers, lynda.com. If you go to lynda.com, if you go to lynda.com here, there's actually, if you type in cover letter, so I mean, it'll bring up some programs, some classes that you can actually take. Then you can, watch some videos. So now that you've finished research, the next step is probably the biggest challenge: writing out the resume, writing out the cover letter. It's easier said than done to open up Microsoft Word or Google Docs and start writing. If I open up this blank Google Doc page, it's easy to fall back on difficult templates that are sometimes too complicated. Templates are something we might be able to use because we just want to get a resume done. Template is easier. There's nothing wrong with templates as long as they're flexible to any changes you wish to make. And they're relatively simple. I know a lot of resume templates use these complicated tables that make it more of a challenge to edit. You want to try to use simple templates, either using whatever word processing document program you're using, whether it's Pages on Apple computers, whether it's Microsoft Word on Windows computers or any computers, or it's Google Docs using your Google account, your Gmail account. I'm using Google Docs. And with Google Docs, I know that Google Docs offers several templates here. Resource list that you'll have after this program, I'll have a link directly to that. But if you just, use Google search, Google Docs templates, you'll be able to bring it up. I log into my Gmail so that I'm already logged into Google. I'm already logged into Google Drive. I can just start off by getting a resume. So like with this resume, I could go ahead and start just filling in my details. So it gives you the formatting and the fonts that are for this resume. You want to highlight and just put in your name. And then maybe put in your contact information. Like I said, you want a template to be able to adapt to it. I may not put my address on here, but I'm going to put my phone number and my email in here. And then I'll start putting in skills. I'll put in company name. So I might go in here, December 2015. This is a chronological resume. And so what I would do is I would probably put in, with each job, put in, maybe 3 or 4 highlights of accomplishments, things I've done that have been successful. So that's how I can use that template like I said, make it adapt to me and what I want it to look like. And what I like about this Google Doc in particular is it automatically saves. So it automatically saves, and then if I go to a job employer's website and they want it in a docx format, the Microsoft Word format, or a PDF, once I finish it, I could go to File, Download, Microsoft Word, PDF. It automatically saves to my Google Drive, and then all I got to do is go to File, Download, Microsoft Word, PDF, and I'll get that resume downloaded here. See, there it is. And then I could go in here and just make it into something new. So I can do Martin Bennett resume. So that's the benefit of a template, is that you can do that. Now, the drawback of a template, a lot of employers are probably seeing the same template that you're using elsewhere. Not necessarily, like I said, not necessarily going to be something that takes you away from the job. But if you want something more unique, then you do have to go in to a blank document and start doing your best to write out a template using your formatting and so forth. Now, you've done research. You've found the things that you've liked. So now you can start writing out your resume. So when you're creating your own resume, so let's say I found a resume that has very bold name at the top, has phone number, email, has a horizontal line separating the rest of the employment history, the skills. And what I might do is I might type in my name, phone number, and email, and then I'll go to Insert, Horizontal Line, and then I can start putting in and then start putting in more details. Now, a resource that I may use while I'm doing this, I might go to research databases here, go to jobs and careers, and I'll go to Learning Express Library. Learning Express Library is a really great resource for those that are new. So all you got to do is go into sign in and register. So if you're new, you would do register. Once you've signed in, under centers, you have career prep. This is a great resource to figure out, a lot of different things. And you'll see this in the next few segments here. I'm going to go into build resumes and job letters here. So that's Centers, Job Career Accelerator, Centers, Job Career Accelerator, build resumes and job letters. Once I do that, I can go here, build resumes and job letters. And you have these different tools. So I'm going to launch Career Tool. And so right here, you can create a new resume, or upload and edit an existing resume. I want to create one. And then all you got to do is just fill in the blanks. Sort of like a template, but you'll be able to have it all sort of filled in for you by just kind of walking through. You don't have to highlight and do all that stuff. And then right here, you can choose your work situation here. So resource that you have right in front of you. You can also go to Letter Builder. And so this is where you can create a new letter. I want to create a new letter, or maybe I want to upload and edit an existing letter. But right here, you'll start right here. Let's create a letter from scratch, start building my letter. So I'm going to put a name. So this is a cover letter. And then I'm going to start creating a letter from scratch here. And then it'll kind of give you the same sort of word formatting that you get from a Google Docs. And so, but it also gives you this keyword list here. Gives you action words that you can use. So let's say I'm writing a cover letter for, let's say I'm doing childcare, so I want to share some of my teaching skills. And see, it gives you these really useful keywords that you can use when creating your resume, creating your cover letter. These are words that will kind of help you stand out a little more when you're trying to get through that job filter. So when you're writing your letter, that's what you can use. So you've got, if you've researched cover letters, You found some cover letters in the Knock 'em Dead cover letters book you've checked out from Hoopla. You've looked on Google search and Bing, and you found some cover letters that other people have used related to childcare. Now you can kind of start making your own. Like I said, you're adapting this to make your own. And I may even, and like I said, you can still just go to browse all sample letters. So this will give you some sample letters that you can use. And it'll give you some examples here. So mid-level job seeker, recent college grad, intern. It gives you some context about why this cover letter is a strong letter. And then it kind of walks you through what you need to have. So from here, you can kind of figure out how to do this. You can use this sample letter. And then all of a sudden, you can kind of do like what we were showing with the templates. You can just highlight and do that here. So, let's say you would put in your name, Martin Bennett, address here. And then you'll start putting in, say, whoever you're writing the letter to, if it's the human sources director, the person that you believe is going to be your boss. If you don't know the name of the person, or if it's not on the job application or job description, and you can't find it on, say, like a website, typically if you go to like a organization's website, look for their HR person or their HR director. That's who's going to probably be looking at your resumes first. If you can't find it, just put in the employer, and then put in, say, dear, employer's name. So once you finish, go to preview letter so you can see what the letter looks like. And then what you can do is you can go here to this download button, download letter, and then you can download it on the computer. And select file type, use PDF, Word, rich text, and then you'll be able to save it to your computer. You can also just email it directly from here. So that's all stuff that you have access to with your library card. So like I said, you can do it on a blank, start with a blank canvas here. You can also use this blank canvas so that you have access to that keyword list. You can do, there's no one way to do this. I may bring this up and just use so I can have the access to this keyword list, research skills, so that when I'm doing this and I start doing my skills portion, I can go in here and type, say, reviewed experience in. So that's just, like I said, that's an example of what you can do when you're writing your resume. So the last stage is review. So once you finish writing your resume, I've finished writing my resume. I'm going to go to File, Download PDF. There it is right there. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to research databases on the DeKalb Library website, go back to the jobs and careers, and I'm going to go to Help Now from BrainFuse. So I'm going to go to Help Now from BrainFuse. Help Now from BrainFuse has a lot of resources that you can use. So the first one, you do want to make sure that you've registered, create an account through the library. You get a library card number and PIN number you need to use. Make sure you do that. So there's a few things that I like. One is Writing Lab. So from here, I can upload a file. So I can upload that resume that I've created here. And I can have it submitted, and they will send me results. So someone who's an expert writer, who's a professional writing tutor, will send me advice about what I've written. This is really useful for cover letters. When you're writing a cover letter, you can upload your cover letter and have them review it. The other thing, if you go to adult learners here, you can find writing resume. So folks will be able to actually help you craft a resume. This includes some online resources you can use, a lot of templates that we've, similar to what we've gone over. But let's say I've created a resume, you can upload this resume and they'll give you an edited resume in 24 hours, or you can get live help from a brain freeze online instructor. So get live brain freeze. So between 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., you'll be able to get live resume help. So you'll be able to actually have someone who can help you with your resume. That's something you get with your library card at no charge. So these three things: online resources, get someone to review your resume, or to get live resume help, all available to you through your library card. But using the resources that you have through your DeKalb library card, you can find the necessary resources to research how you want your resume to look and how you want to write your cover letter. You can have resources that will help you write your resume and your cover letter, and you have resources that you can use to review and edit your resume and cover letter so that you'll stand out for an employer, and you'll be able to share what you're going to be able to provide for any organization.
Hi, my name is Amanda Lindsay, and I'm at the Stonecrest Library. What resources does the library have to help you with searching for a job? Let's start with these resources that can give you a broad picture specifically with job strategies, search strategies. And let's look at resources where you can apply these strategies. Finally, we'll explore digital material that might help you for each item. I'll show you how to access it, some of the highlights of specifically for job searching, and any specific details. If it's been a while since you've been job hunting, or if this is your first time, it can be overwhelming on how to go about finding what jobs might be out there that might give you, that you might wish to pursue. Our first resource that we're going to look at is lynda.com. There's a mobile app available for this resource, but you'll need to access it for the first time through our website. And let's look where to find that. So our website address is dekalblibrary.org. And once you get to that, you're going to go over to the tab where it says eLibrary and then click on lynda.com. It's going to ask you for your library card number and PIN number. And once you log in, it'll direct you to the site. Lynda is a video tutorial site, and it has several nice features. The first is that you can learn in a variety of ways depending on your learning style. If you learn best by watching, you can just click on a video and watch it. If you learn better by reading material, each video has a script that you can read. If you learn best by doing, many of the tutorials will provide exercise files that, if they make sense for that subject, for you to work through. The second feature is that there are short tutorials, an hour or less, and they are what they call learning paths. Learning paths are made up of several tutorial videos that hone in on a variety of topics and skills for a major goal. The third nice feature is that you can earn a certificate for each learning path you complete. In creating this section, I found 2 tutorials and 2 learning paths. Before we jump in, let's take a look at them. And take a look at them, I want to show you how and what search terms I use to locate them. In the search bar, I typed in job search. Okay, you can see that it gives me several suggestions here. Let's look at the short tutorials I found. They are job search strategies and find a job in the hidden job market. Scrolling down, that's a path. Dang it. So if we look at, we're going to look at find a job in the hidden job market. And actually I hit the wrong one. Go back. As you can see, if it's got a little box to the left, that's a path, and then the video is going to have the play. So let's look at the video first. So as you look at it, you can see at the very bottom that it gives you tutorials to look at that you might suggest to watch next. You can add these to your playlist by just clicking plus, and you'll find your playlist under your name and the variety. Okay. If we scroll up, you can see that there's an overview. It kind of gives you information about what the video is about, how long it is. This one's 37 minutes and 20 seconds. You also can see a transcript. This is where you can read the transcript of the video. You can view the video offline if you download it to your computer. And then if there are exercise files, they'll be located there. Okay. So the two learning paths that I found were becoming a successful job hunter and finding a job during challenging economic times. So let's look at the challenging jobs. Okay, as you can see, it tells you that the total path is 11 hours. You can practice, so there's practice exercises for you, and it'll certify that you've completed that particular job. You'll see that there are several videos, 13 videos in the learning path. You can watch all the learning path videos, or if you just find a few that videos that really kind of are what you're looking for to learn, you can just click on those. Okay, so let's look at our next resource, which can help you search for jobs. And if you're looking at changing careers, can help you narrow down your search. And this is Learning Express Library, but more specifically, Job and Career Accelerator. There's also a mobile app available to access this resource. So to access the resource, we're going to go to our website again, DeKalbLibrary.org. And on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says Research Databases. So we're going to click on that. And then those databases are subheaded by different subjects. So we're going to go down to job and careers. And then we're going to see, you see Linda's there also, but we're going to click on job and accelerator. Again, you're going to need to type your library card number and PIN number. Now, the most useful part of the Job and Career Accelerator to me is the job search engine. It uses Indeed's database, but what is unique is that you can apply directly from this resource. You can search by job title, company, and or zip code. You can also save your job searches to go back and revisit with your criteria. Finally, if you created or uploaded your resume and cover letter to this resource, it can be used to apply easily. Okay, so we're going to go down and we're going to see search for job and internships. Click on that. And you want to make sure that you're selecting on search for job engine. You're going to need to sign up for an account before you start. And once you get there, if you already have an account, you're going to type in your username and password. I've already logged in. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So it gives me a place to put job title, skills, or company, and then a location. So say I'm a forklift driver. So we're going to type in forklift driver. And then say I'm in the Lithonia area. So we're going to put in 30038 as a zip code. And we're going to click on search jobs. Okay, there are 17 results in that zip code for forklift driver. Okay. To the right below here, you'll see it says the default is 25 miles. Say I only want jobs within 10 miles of that zip code. So I can limit there. And you'll see a variety of things. So you'll see the job title, the company, where it's located, and a brief explanation of what they're looking for, what the job entails. Now you can save this job by click on save this job listing, and this you can go back to at a later date. So let's click on that. So when you do that, you have to save the job title and the company. You don't have to save the description if you don't want to, and you don't have to necessarily save the URL where that job listing is. You can link your resume and your cover letter if you've already uploaded it to the site or created it on Learning Express Library. When you do create your job, save your job search here, you do need to select an occupation card. I've already selected one and created it, and it's forklift driver. So you can bunch all your jobs. If you're looking for a variety of different types of jobs, you can put all them in each category. Okay, so I'll do that and then click on save, and then it's successfully saved so I can go back at a later time. Now, if I wanted to apply for a job, you're just going to click on apply. It's going to take you to Indeed. It will give you more information about what the job entails, location if it's given, what the schedule is, and all that kind of stuff. And then you just click on apply. Okay. So The next part of the resource that I find is very helpful is the job skills match. So we're going to go back to, I'm going to close that out. We're going to go back home to the home center and go down to Job and Career Accelerator. And we're going to look at Find a Career Match. Now, more specifically looking at skills, matching skills. So we're going to click on Find a Career Match. And then the skills matcher. So we'll click on skills matcher. Now, to use this, you just answer the questions about a variety of skills on a sliding scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree, whether or not you can perform that skill. And at the end of answering those questions at the tool, it ranks a variety of careers, and then you can narrow it down by specific skills by clicking on occupation matches. Okay, so I took this earlier, and this gives me information about different types of career industries and gives you information about that. But I also can look at the view matches, and they give me specifics, and then I can go in a little bit farther, and it will give me some information about that career. It will give me kind of a video of what you do with that particular career, wages and trends, what kind of education I need, related occupations, which might help you look for additional jobs. And then if you have any saved jobs, it'll show there, and you can also look at a few available jobs. This can not only be helpful when you're looking for a new career, but also to look at industries where your current skills can be used and maybe search for jobs in those industries. Okay, so our next resource is a little more specific when job searching where the normal avenues are not producing any leads. And this is Reference USA. To access it, you will go through the same steps as the previous resource. You'll go to our website and again, click on Reference Databases, go down to Jobs and Careers, and click on Reference Database, Reference USA. Again, it's going to ask you for your library card number and PIN number. And I forgot to just say, Reference USA has a mobile app, and also Learning Express Library also has a mobile app. So you can use these on your phone if you decide. Okay, so I had already clicked on this, but once you click on it, there's going to come up an agreement page that you'll need to read and click on agreement, and then you'll come to their home page. Okay, so Reference USA offers a variety of databases. We're going to look at two of them, which are applicable to job searching. The first is U.S. Jobs and Internship Database. It works the same as Job and Accelerator and uses the same Indeed database, except that it does not have an apply button on the site, nor does it offer to store your resume and cover letter. Another difference is that Reference USA will give you suggested search terms once you begin to type. For example, using a forklift driver, we're going to go into U.S. Business. Oops, sorry, went the wrong way. We're going to go into U.S. Jobs and Internship, and we're going to type in forklift driver. And once I start typing in forklift, you can see that there's a variety of different occupations that come up. So this can give you some information about some other keyword searches to look at while you're doing your job search. Okay, but for our purposes, we're going to kind of mimic what we just did in the previous resource, and we're going to type in forklift driver. Okay. And then we're going to put the same zip code, 33038. Okay, and then you're going to click on View Results. Okay, and then you get a list of job titles, the companies, and locations, and then when it's posted. Okay, so you can click on the title, and it will take you over to Indeed, and you'll see basically the same thing that you saw from Job and Career Accelerator. You can also look at the company and kind of get some information about the company. You can see where it is located, jobs, other job listings by that company, kind of description of the SIC codes. It will give you business type, sales if it's available, company news if it's available, business size and volume, and a variety of other things. Okay, It also will tell you if it's owned by a larger company, and but it does not include job descriptions within the database. You just have to click on the job to find that out. Okay. The other database that Reference USA has, which can be helpful in job searching, is the business. So we're going to go ahead and click on Reference USA in the top left-hand corner and go into the US business. Okay. So let's look and see how that works. So we're going to click on Advanced Search. And you will see on the left-hand side a variety of criteria that you can search by. Okay, so for us, we're going to use keyword search, and we're going to use zip code. And for this example, we're going to look at warehouses, because if you're looking for a forklift job, you're going to probably see several in warehouse. So you click on warehouse in the keyword search box, and you'll see a whole bunch of different matches. Okay, so we can go through and look at what we think might be it. So I'm looking at warehouses, commercial storage, anything where I think might use a forklift driver. Okay, we're just going to click on a couple, and it's not going to give us a whole lot of things, a lot of jobs for us to look at, but we're going to look at a couple of them. Okay, so once you select those, then you have to go down below and you have to actually type in the SIC code, which is right here, or NAIC code. So I'm going to type in 422509, which is for warehouses, 422618 for warehouse commercial. We'll do a couple more. 154107 for contractors, general industry. 154106. And we'll do one more. 344801. Okay. And then you come down to the zip code criteria, and we're going to type in 3038 for Lithonia and 30058. Those two zip codes are in the Lithonia area. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says View Results. So we're going to click on Review Results. You only got two, but that's okay. We're going to just show you how you can use this. So depending on, and it takes a little bit of trial and error, you can go back and add some more. And then one of the other ways to come up with a different list is if you know a particular company, you can do a company list. And I'll show that real quick. Okay, so here are the addresses, the executive names that are connected to the thing. If either one was owned, you'd see under a corporate tree, you would see an arrow up and down. You can also map this. So if I clicked on map right here, it'll give you an idea of where those two companies are located with each other. Okay. And what's helpful for this is that if you have several of them and you're going to do a drive-by, and we'll talk about that in a second, where you can drive by the locations, you can use that to do that. All right, so we're going to go back to results in window, I believe that's right. So what's helpful for this, then you can go in and see. It's a verified record, so they verify the information with the actual business. It tells you your SIC code. Sometimes you can find a couple others that might be worth it. There's 4 people at the location. Tells you the volume of sales. Tells you how long it's been in the database. That kind of might give you an idea of how long the company's been around. Last time it was updated was October 2019. If there are hours of operations that are given, that'll be listed there. Gives you business expenditure, kind of gives you the size of volume. Okay. It'll give you nearbys, competitors reports. So if this is a company that you really think might be something that you might, then it'll give you an idea in the general area. It won't just be in that Lithonia area zip code. Okay. So what you can do with this as you go through and grab these is you can create them and you can print a list. And for that list, you can then cold call or drive by. So many local companies don't necessarily advertise their jobs online. They will put a sign out, or they consider word of mouth of being able to get their employees. So those are ways to kind of go about that many people don't use. It's more of an old school type of job search. Okay. So our next information that we're going to use. So the other thing with this, let me go back to revise search, is we can also say, for instance, we knew that Lithonia Industrial Boulevard has many warehouses and that may it. So you can do a street address. So you can type in Lithonia Boulevard and get all the information about all the companies that are on that street. So that might also be a way to use this resource. Okay. So let's briefly talk about a research company before you go on interview. As I said, you can go through and all the information that we just talked about that's given on a company, you can do that. So let's look at, do a quick search and type in Amazon. So there you get a lot of different things, and you can see. Now we can do it by zip code. We can go ahead and limit by zip by the state, but there's where you can see where it's owned by somebody else. And there's the main thing in Seattle. And again, it gives you jobs, the same type of information, profile that you have, hours of operation, and all of the executives that are in the company that are listed. Okay, so this is good information if you're going on a job interview to do it. But there's also another resource, and we're going to go ahead, close out some of these here. Go ahead and go back to our website. And we're going to look at Business Source Complete. Okay, so to access Business Source Complete is part of Galileo. So the easiest way is to click on Galileo, and let me go back to the home page. You can almost always find Galileo right here. So you can click on Galileo. Again, it's going to ask you for your library card number, PIN number. There's not a mobile app for this resource that I'm aware of. Okay. So the easiest way to do it, to find it, you can browse by type or browse by subject. But since I know we're looking for the business resource, I can click on there, and then I can type in business resource complete, or I could have just gone ahead and clicked on B, and for some reason that didn't come up. Let's go click on B. There you go, business source complete. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Now, when we look at that, there's your search bar right here, but below you see a couple different things. So we're going to click on full text because we want to be able to look at it. You can go ahead, and if you want a certain publication date, you can certainly do that. So we're going to look at Amazon again. Okay. To the right, you'll see company information, and you can click on that. You can see company profiles, which is what we're going to look at in a minute. And then you can see newswires, so different news information, news on the web that's available. Okay. You can also do a search. So we did Amazon, but what if we're looking at forklifts? So we could do Amazon warehouse, since we think we're going to be working in the warehouse. And you can come up with a variety of different articles about Amazon and warehouses. Again, we have full text. We can limit it by, we only want the most current in the last year. So I can limit to 2019. And I can kind of look and see. Now, if I am going through this, you can sign in for an account for free. And it's always there. And then you can actually click on the plus sign and start adding to that. So you can go back and look at your articles that you selected. Let's look at the company. So if we type in Amazon in the company, we come up with ticker names. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at, let's see if we can do the United States, see if it'll limit. That gives you information. Let me Seattle. All right. All right. Well, let's just actually let's go reverse. Okay, so we sorted through. Let's just look at Amazon Fulfillment Warehouse. Now you have the headquarter parent, so we can click on that, and that's going to give us the parent corporation. Okay, so you can see, you can find out more about financial industry. So you can look at the industry codes, and you can actually look at some more information about that in executive things. And you can look at the global company, and that gives you their information there. Okay, how much their revenue is. But the actual best resource for that are your different newspaper articles, which is what we looked at. Okay, so our last resource is not a library's resource, but it's one of the resources that most people use every day, and that's Google. So if you go into Google, they now have a thing where you can do jobs nearby. So if I type in jobs near me, it's going to take where my location is, and it's going to search jobs for me. So if I click on that, I am currently at my house, so I am in Covington, and it will show all the things here that are in Conyers. It'll search by, you can change it by how many days, past 3 days, everything that's been. You can limit by the type of career that's done. You can look at company, okay? But you also, say, for instance, I'm at my mother-in-law's house down in Albany. I can type in, but I want to know what is in Decatur. I can type in Decatur, jobs near Decatur. And again, it's going to give me. So it will, and you can limit again. So it will give you where you can apply for the job. You can save it if you have a Google account. You can share also. It gives you your job description, kind of what the position summary is. It also gives you some information about how much, depending on Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, PayScale, a variety of different websites, what the average for that particular job is, that type of job. Okay. And then you'll see other jobs on the left, and you can click on those. There's DeKalb Workforce has got one from package handler. You can apply on Glassdoor for this one. Okay. So that is all that. Now, the last thing I said that I would do was show you jobs. So let me go back and let me pull this up. So there are several, oh, before I do that, let me show you how to get to our resources for jobs. So let me go back to our website. So we have a variety of ebook resources. Several of them you can get, our most popular ones are Overdrive and Hoopla, which Overdrive is, you can find under eLibrary. Hoopla is right here to the right, but you can also go to reference databases and go down to ebooks. So the ones that I found for ebooks, there were a couple on Overdrive, a couple on eBooks Central, and ebook on EBSCOhost. Now, ebook Central and ebook EBSCOhost is done through Galileo, so you would click on these right here, type in your library card number, and that'll take you to that, and then you would just do a regular search for jobs. Okay, But I told you I would have the list here. So here are the lists. You have Overdrive, Ultimate Job Search Guide, and How to Get a Job After 50. Ebooks at EBSCO Host has one. And then Hoopla, I only listed two. There were several. As of summer of 2020, when this is recorded, Hoopla has the most as far as job searching. And most of those books will be incorporated in job seeking books together. Okay. Well, I hope you found this helpful in finding a job and learning a little bit more about what resources we have for searching for jobs.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary and I'm going to show you the library resources we have that will help you with interviewing skills. So interviewing definitely involves a specific skill set, and if it's your first time going through the job hunting process or if you haven't done it in a while, it can be overwhelming to figure out how to prepare. Fortunately, there are a lot of library resources out there to help you. And remember that with your library card, all these resources are free, so take advantage. The first resource I want to show you is Learning Express Library's Job and Career Accelerator. So we're going to start on the DeKalb Library homepage. That's dekalblibrary.org. From there, you click on Research, and then you click on Learning Express Library. I believe I'm already logged in. At this point, you need to log into your library account here, and then you can go through. So this is what it's going to look like, Learning Express Library, and then you can go down to the Job and Career Accelerator. And this is Learning Express's job-specific resource, and you will need to make an account to access all these resources, so go ahead and do that if you haven't already. Learning Express is a great resource for other topics as well. They have test prep and career exams and computer courses and all kinds of other content. And you can go to your account and go back to ebooks you've downloaded or tutorials that you've started. So it's a good idea to make your account and see what else they have to offer. So from here, we can click on Prepare for an Interview. They have a whole section on that. Okay, prepare for an interview. So here are the resources they have. They have ebooks, sample letters, and a whole tutorial about interviewing with confidence. And these sample letters, they have these interview follow-up letter, thank you letter, job offer and resignation letter, networking letters. When you click on download ebook here, it will download as a PDF file. They're pretty short. They're just sample letters that will kind of inspire you to write your own. It's a good example for you to follow. And, you know, specifically with a thank you letter, a good thank you letter sent after your interview can help make you stand out. And so you can use these to just inspire your own letter. And we can go ahead and take a look at the interview with confidence tutorial. And here's what it looks like when you're in a course. It gives you a little information about what you'll learn. You can hit Start Tutorial right here, or you can go up here and see the lessons. So it offers general guidelines for interviews, how to do pre-interview research, and it has some really detailed examples of how different ways you could answer interview questions. And of course, you know, right now, if you're doing a job interview, it may be on the phone, it may be a video call rather than in person. Interviewers are still going to be evaluating your body language and your communication skills. And so this tutorial has some good strategies to help walk you through the stages of the interview process and help you prepare for those things. So you can, like I said, either you can start the tutorial from the beginning, or you can click through here into each of these lessons. So they really walk you through the stages of the interview process. They have the 5 stages of an interview, scheduling an interview, and they give you really practical advice. In lesson 2, for example, the pre-interview research, is really helpful. And it gives you tips on where and how to research the employer that you're interviewing with. And this can help when you're asked that question at the end. In an interview, they ask, what questions do you have for us? And you want to come prepared for that. You know, you want to be able to ask them a question that looks good. So they also have in lesson 3, the practice interview questions. And so these give you examples of common interview questions that are asked. And you may not be asked these exact questions in the interview, but practicing is so important. And if you have already prepared a variety of responses in your head, then you can better think on your feet and come up with a response from what you've already been preparing. So for example, what are your long-term goals? They give you kind of what the interview is looking for when they ask that question. And that is something, you know, that you need to prepare for. So they give you, mention how you've been following a career path, where you think this will take you in the future, and you can type an answer here. And then they have sample responses here that, you know, will give you something to think about. So they do that for every one of these. Your biggest accomplishment at your job, stress that teamwork is involved and that you're working well with others. You know, sometimes there's hidden things that they're asking there, and this kind of helps you decipher that and learn what to bring out in your answer to these questions. So I think this is really helpful. So we can move on now. We're going to look at Linda. So we're going to go back to the library page. And Linda, you can find in the eLibrary tab, and it's right here, lynda.com. You should log in with your library card at that point. I believe I'm already logged in, and it's going to pop up. And I have an account with Linda. I recommend creating an account. So again, you can save your progress. You can add courses to your playlist. And if you're not familiar with lynda.com already, I highly recommend exploring it. It has courses on a huge number of topics that could be useful to you. So you can see if I'm logged into my Linda account, I can hop right back into the course that I was watching before. And that's really convenient. So you can explore all of these learning paths. I do recommend exploring Linda. You could go into all of these different categories here, or you can use the search bar. And right now I'm just going to use the search term and we can play around with that. I type in interview, and you can also try interviewing. You can try job interview. You can see we have a couple of results here. We're just going to go ahead and search interview. So you can scroll down. It'll tell you this is a video, how long it is. So there's a good amount of content here. I'm going to show you a couple of courses that I found that I think are going to be really useful. There was one called Finding a Job During Challenging Economic Times. Here it is. So that's relevant for us now. You know, it tells me I've already looked at it. I can come back and resume learning from where I stopped off. So useful. Whether you've been laid off or had your hours reduced, learn strategies for finding a job during challenging economic times. And there is a video here on digital body language, which I found really interesting. That's something that may be useful if you have a video job interview to look at. And there's this one as well, the video interview tips. So if I click here, I can scroll through. This is all of the content of the course. What are video interviews? What do you wear? How do you set up? That's an important one. How do you set up the technology correctly? And that's something you would want to practice. And down here, it gives you an overview of the whole course. The whole thing is 24 minutes, not that long. And you can also view the transcripts. So this is helpful too if you prefer to just read it or if you want to follow along. And of course, this is, you hit this play button, it'll start playing. And with any of the Lynda courses, you can click Add to Playlist, and that'll add it to your playlist when you're logged in, and you can view everything that you've added. There's another one I would like to show you called How to Rock an Interview. So again, here's the content here. Here's the overview and the transcript of what is said in the video that's up here. And so this one gives you, you know, some good, specifically right here, pause that. How to answer, tell me about yourself. You know, that's a question that you might be asked at the beginning of an interview, and it can kind of throw you off if you're not prepared. So it gives you some good ways to answer that question. And prepare speaking points, not a script. This is all really good interview advice. And again, it all comes down to practicing. So I'll show you one more. Mastering common interview questions. So this one actually goes through the 10 most common interview questions, and it gives you tips that will help you to craft your own answers. So how to respond, you know, tell me about your weaknesses. And again, you can view the transcript here. They have exercise files here that you can download. So you can download this content and look it over in a different form. It's really useful. And again, this is just, you need to practice answering these questions so you have it all in your head, so you have something to pull from. They might not ask you this exact same question, but they might ask something similar, and you can say, oh, I can kind of twist something I've already come up with in my head, and I'm ready to go when they ask me something like that in the interview. And Lynda also has specific interview tips for different career fields. You kind of have to play around with the search terms up here, but interview tips for sales professionals, interview tips for finance professionals. I know there's one for creatives, for creative fields. So Lynda focuses a lot on the technical fields, but the general advice is going to be relevant for everyone. Sometimes if you are in a specific profession, they may be asking questions that, you know, are going to be asked about that specific profession. So this can be useful too if you're if there's a content on that. The last thing I want to show you is the ebooks that we have at the library. So we're going to go back to the library homepage, dekalblibrary.org. You get to the ebooks through the eLibrary tab. And Overdrive is one of our most popular apps. You can click on it right here. You can also download the app called Libby, Libby, on your mobile device, and it's really easy to use. It's the same thing. It's just the app for Overdrive. And this is Overdrive. Here's our search function up here. You know, they have a lot of people use Overdrive for fiction. They also have a lot of great nonfiction, a lot of helpful nonfiction. So I'm going to choose nonfiction right here so we can look at all of the interview with the vampire. So we have the 250 job interview questions, knock 'em dead, job interviews, job interview tips for overcoming red flags. So there's a lot of good content on here. And this one, you can see when it says available like this, and it says borrow. This one we could borrow right now. You can also place a hold and put yourself on the wait list for ones that say wait list like this. So there's some great content here. And I'm also going to show you, go back to the library website, and we'll go to eLibrary, and I want to show you Hoopla. So Hoopla is new for DeKalb County. It has graphic novels, it has music and movies, and of course it has ebooks and audiobooks. So Go up to the search bar. We'll try searching job interviews. We'll give you suggestions here, or you can go into the search. What I like, Hoopla right now has a lot of audiobooks, so that can be useful too if you're a learner and you want to hear it. So they have the job interview, prepare to get hired. Will these mistakes cost you the job? They also have some ebooks here. And they have this one which I thought looked interesting, the storytelling for job interviews. So there's a lot here. And Hoopla, of course, also has an app that you can download on a mobile device as well. So there are a number of resources available to you through DeKalb County Public Libraries that can help you in your job search all the way through. You're not alone in this. You know, everything I've shown you too is free with your library card, so take advantage, and I wish you the best of luck in your job search.